Oh, now my face is all washed out. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Oh.
Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to my dearest friends all over the world. Is this the right button on my chair? Yes. All right. Did Tommy say he was leaving to get a haircut? Yes. 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 He should know better. He should know better. Golly gee. Let's see. Let's flip all the comments up. Make sure we can see them on vMix Social. You know, we've kind of condensed everything down to one PC now that we're using one PC. So we're doing social. I mean, you know, you can see the social right there. But I just can't get away. It's hard to break the habit of using that second PC. So I've got a second PC with a separate monitor. In fact, I've got a good screenshot of that here. This is now the main, this is it. This is streaming to YouTube, to Facebook, Eastern Shore Broadcasting page, Streaming Idiots group, recording, vMix call, the whole production. And this guy over here is just running vMix Social, and he's running Facebook and YouTube and some other stuff just for having it. And then the Surface here is not running anything. It's just on at the moment. And let's see, have we got? Let's just check here. Yeah, we've got the NS1 plug-in working today at 20%. So that should cut out a lot of the room noise. Maybe not all. It's really interesting about the NS1. I have a client in California that is doing a talk show, and she was setting it up. She had previously, been in somebody else's studio, and she was setting up a studio of her own. And the room was just horrid. It was tile floors, sheetrock ceiling, sheetrock walls, and she couldn't really change any of it. It was a rental space, and it was a meeting space, and so she couldn't do the typical kinds of things that you would do in a studio, where you're hanging things and you're coding things and things like that. And she had a serious room echo, and I said, let's try some stuff. And I did a little bit of research. I've been using the NS1 since Paul Richards told me about it several years ago. This is from Waves Audio, by the way. It's a VST3 plug-in that plugs into vMix in the audio mixer section, actually in the individual audio input. And so I did a little bit of research on it and was researching the frequencies that were room echo frequencies, and could you just turn down the EQ for those frequencies? And I bumped into the NS1 as somebody using it to get rid of room noise. And I thought, well, that hollow kind of echo that it says you're in a room. So I said, well, let's try it. And she could get it free for 30 days, I guess. I need to remind her that she needs to buy it, because when it goes away, the room echo will come back. And we put it in and tweaked it, I think about 15 to 20%. And wow, it was amazing the difference it made in her voice sound. Now, we still want to tweak the EQ on her voice to get it to sound the way she wants it to sound, but we got rid of all the echo the extra echo that was there that was not any good. Hello, Peter. Hello, Storm Chaser. Hello, Taekwondo Replays. And Otis. Howdy, y'all. Who else do we have here today? Jim is here. Jim, hopefully you're still at your same address because you've got a mouse pad on its way to you. Kenny's here. Kenny is going to be one of the stars of the Streaming Idiots meetup at NAB. Kenny is a very, I won't say shy, just reserved individual, at least in large companies. Tommy's getting a haircut. Scott's up in Wisconsin doing something. Tim's just down the coast from me watching his media encoder. Oh, he's a fading star. Is that it? Okay, a fading star. And Maria's here. All right. And Ed is here. Good. Welcome. Glad you're here. Lion live stream. Welcome. Glad you're here. Introduce yourself to everybody else. Make friends. Play nice. You know the deal. My apologies if you have signed up for the Streaming Idiots group. I've got a ton of folk there that I need to get through. I'll do that right after the show today. So we got you there. Tim is in Lake Country today. Okay. All right. And Maria's in Malmo, Sweden. I had the chance to meet Maria and her really nice husband, Jan, at IBC back in September. In fact, Maria and Jan and Sandy and I went out to dinner, and it was just really a treat. One of the highlights of my visit over there. Video Pepper, egg boxes work really good for getting rid of echoes. Absolutely. But I'll tell you, there's nothing like a $49 NS1 filter to get rid of echoes and to do also, I mean, it's like a Swiss Army knife of voice problems. Lion Livestream is from the Netherlands. Well, I loved your country while I was there last year. And let's see, we've got seconds. Dan Law says, I'm still not getting 1080p streaming to Facebook. I did buy my vMix from you. What a great purchase. Thank you, Dan. I did schedule with vMix as well, sending 1080p to Facebook, and it shows that as well. All right, well, I don't get it. You're either sending it, you're either getting 1080p or you're not getting 1080p. Oh, I see you're sending it, and it shows that as well. Well, then you should have it. I think we're sending 1080 today. Let me just double check. That was the intention. That's why we scheduled it through Facebook. So let's check Facebook here real quickly. Bear with me just a second. We'll go to the Eastern Shore page, Eastern Shore Broadcasting page, where we're streaming one Facebook stream. And it's a little slow loading, probably because we've got all these other things going on at the same time. And still loading. You got to understand, we're in Alabama, so we can see the edge of the earth from here. We'll let that load in the background for a second. It says the maximum we can broadcast is 720. Huh. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Come on, Facebook. Here we go. Facebook is just not being responsive. Have I got internet issues? No? Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's go to the Eastern Shore Broadcasting page. It says we're live. I don't want to watch the video, but I guess I'm going to have to watch it, if just for a second. So hopefully there won't be any. We'll mute the audio. We'll go full screen with it. HD, yeah, it says auto 1080p. So my Facebook is 1080p, but it says your maximum you can broadcast is 720p. I don't know. I'd be happy to chat with you about that and see if we can't figure out why that's the case. I mean, I'm not anybody special with Facebook. The way I'm special with Facebook is I'm using the vMix to schedule it, and that's the big difference. Video Pepper, audio is still an undervalued thing for most video people. I agree. I agree. Video people are what do we call it? Visual people. And so audio is kind of like the last thing we think about. Oh, yeah, we need to hook up a mic somehow. Hook up a mic, no problem. Oh, that's, you know what? I just hooked up a mic this morning and I didn't test it. Well, that's what the Idiot Show is all about. All right, well, let's move over to the studio there, and we're gonna go right over there. Can I show you more of it? Let's see if we can adjust the webcam to show you just a little bit more of what it looks like in real life. Yeah, there we go. And you know, you would think I would be smart, and I finally am after a couple of years. Is that I moved the boom from here, to here, and it was over there, and so I had to run a cord across the floor to get to it. Well, what kind of idiot does that? I'll tell you what kind of idiot. Oh, that's my kind of idiot. All right. Looks like Jacob is here. Welcome. Does anyone use vMix on Twitch streaming? I know the Stream Geeks do. I don't. All right. Well, let's move across the way and see what kind of trouble we can get into. And we'll go to this shot for just a second, and we'll switch mics. So let me get over there, and we'll see what trouble we can cause. We need lemonade, and we need X keys, and we need not to trip on the cable. We need to do X keys USB wireless battery operated or something like that. That would be the ticket, wouldn't it? That would be the ticket. All right, let's see. Let's go there for just a second. You like my Rooney? Got him stuck up there. Rooney is the mascot for Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Yes, he is. And let's see, we can do a little less zoom. You don't need to see me that much. I do have a question, though, while we're still in pre-show. We made some adjustments to our setup this week. Anybody want a Smartie or a Dum Dum? Dwight made me this really nice bowl. So as you can see, there are not many Smarties and Dum Dums left. The Smarties tend to go faster than the Dum Dums. We need a little bit more space here. That'll work. That's got it. All right, there we go. We're going to have a surprise guest, and he's not here yet. He's going to join us in process, so probably in about 5 or 10 minutes. So we'll see if that works. The change that we made today, and I'm interested to see if you can notice the difference, was with the camera. This is the PTZ Optics 12X. It was previously by SDI going into the PC. Now we've got it going by HDMI, but we've also got it going at 60 frames a second instead of 30. And I just thought I'd see if it made any difference. Now my color's not quite right, so I'll have to work on that a little bit more. I changed colors shirts, and man, that just threw the color right out. But that's the way it goes. All right, let's see. Jan's in the basement, and he can't hear us. Well, he could turn on the show, and then he could watch the chat. That would be one way to do it. All right, so let's see. Let's get going on the show, and our guest will join us in process. Today we're talking about live streaming studios. So if you know somebody that has a live streaming studio, you might send them a Facebook message or a text or something like that and tell them, hey, if you can't tune in live, at least tune in for the replay. Color's not too bad. Thank you, VP. Appreciate that. Get that, VP? VP? He's a VP. So we'll see how all of this works. So let's get the show on the road. Are you ready? Here we go. Well, hello, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. This is our weekly foray into idiocy. That's it. It's one of those words where we talk about live streaming, and everybody that does live streaming, sooner or later, you go and do the palm head slap, and you say, "Doggone it, I'm such an idiot. I wish I had fill in the blank with the mistake that you made." We all do it sooner or later. Sometimes we do it in private where nobody gets to see. Sometimes we have a whole show about it. Sometimes we do it out in front of everybody. Yeah, and we get we pay our stupid tax, as it were. That's a damn Dave Ramsey phrase. Look up Dave. You'll like him if you're into finance. So let's pay a little stupid tax today, or let's not. Let's learn some things so we don't have to pay quite as much stupid tax. Today we're going to talk about live streaming studios. Now we can kind of divide those up into two different categories. We're going to have a guest join us at some point today, so we're not quite sure when he's joining. So he's going to pop in, and we'll just have to see when he gets here. So if all of a sudden you hear some crackling or something like that, you know that the guest arrived. He's not showing up here in the studio. He's showing up live on vMix call. So two kinds of live streaming studios we're going to talk about today, and I'm sure there are others, but there's just two basic categories. That is bricks and mortar. That is a place where somebody can go to and come into your studio, and you can work with them on producing a show for them where they can be your guest or something like that. And the other is the rest of the world. Gig work, where you're out somewhere else. You're out in a venue, you're in somebody's office or their building or their home or their ranch or their fort, their treehouse, whatever it might be, their store. And let's talk about those two different kinds of live streaming studios, studio work that you might do, or live streaming work that you might do that are studio related. If you're starting it out and you're going, well, Tom, how do I make the phone ring? How do I get people to want to use what I have? Well, there's a real disconnect for a lot of us here, because the technology, the geeky side of live streaming really appeals to those of us that are geeky, are interested in technology. And people that are geeky and interested in technology aren't always, in fact, my guess is more often than not, they are folks that are more reserved, quieter. If they're in a group of people, they're likely to be the person that's listening and watching and observing more than dominating the conversation. They may feel much more comfortable in small groups, or even feel more comfortable all by themselves. And those people tend to be, or the fact that they're drawn to technology, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. Is it their personality type, or is it the technology that kind of forms them that way? And then you have anomalies like me that, I'll talk to anybody. But the disconnect sometimes seems to be that people that are interested in live streaming and want to do their own live streaming studio or their own live streaming show or something like that, or they want to do live streaming for somebody else, it takes them out of their comfort zone to start going out and talking with people and being a salesman. How many times have I heard people say, I am not a good salesman? I am not a good salesman. I heard some noise there. We're going to mute that for just a second. And hopefully we've muted it because I think that was our guest coming on. If you're not a salesman, it's okay. If you don't feel comfortable, going out and talking with people, making phone calls, showing up on their doorstep, it's okay. But you're going to find it harder to get your live streaming studio off the ground if you want to. If all you have to offer is technology, you have to offer a little something more. You have to offer yourself. You have to offer a relationship. You have to offer a personality. You have to not have a light behind your head so that your face is in the shadow. I'm not really talking to you guys. I'm talking to my guest who's just now showing up and looks like a ghost because all we can see is his silver hair. And he's giving me the wave off sign. Isn't it great how we can have all these conversations at the same time? Yeah, just position yourself at the right point in the room. There you go. And we'll bring him on in just a second. So sometimes there's a disconnect between people that want to do live streaming studios and people that have the natural skills for it. And the natural skills, I mean, not necessarily the techie skills, but the people skills, the relationship skills. And so with that as sort of a preface, let's go through a checklist of about, maybe a half a dozen ideas that you can use to get your live streaming studio off the ground. You've just built it. You've just opened the door today. What are you going to do? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to join your local Chamber of Commerce, because your local Chamber of Commerce is going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony at your studio to announce your membership in the Chamber of Commerce. So all of a sudden, 300 people or 3,000 people or 10,000 people are going to know you exist. Now, is it going to be front and center in their life? No. It's going to be a passing thing. Oh yeah, there's another ribbon cutting ceremony. The Chamber has them every month. Well, how can you distinguish yourself just a little bit from all the others? How about giving away to a lucky Chamber member a gift certificate, or not a gift certificate, because it's not a gift, but it's a certificate that allows them to have a live streaming session in your studio. Value, $500. Whatever the value is, don't diminish the value, because number one, you're giving it away for free, but you want people to know this is a gift. It's not a gift. It's not a coupon. Don't call it a coupon. Whatever it is, we'll come up with the right word eventually. But whatever it is whatever the value is, that's the value that you want to be able to sell for in the future. So if you say it's a $59.95 deal that they're getting for free, suddenly you have capped yourself at $59.95 for a session. Please don't do that. Rick calls that poisoning the well. Rick V. Yep. You join the webcasters group on Facebook and you'll meet Rick, and there's a lot of wisdom with Rick. We'll get him on again the show soon. But don't poison the well. Don't come in at such a low price point because you think that's what's going to drive the market. That's not what's going to drive the market. Excellence and quality and professionalism will drive the market. Okay, so you're going to join the Chamber. You're going to get the ribbon cutting. You're going to give away a $500 value session in your studio to some Chamber member that makes the largest donation to the Red Cross for Australia. I mean, tie it into something that's really, tugs at people's hearts. So you're going to do that. You are going to you're going to see if your chamber or somebody else in your community does an annual local business trade show. We've got a marketing company just up the road here that sponsors a trade show every year, and there are about 30 or 40 local businesses that set up in the Civic Center in a trade show format and encourage people to walk through. Here's your opportunity. Don't take a booth. Don't take a booth, because then you're just one of the other people that are walking, that people are walking through and looking at, and they just want your free stuff. Set yourself up as if you were the local newspaper, not the local newspaper, but the local TV news. Approach whoever's marketing this event and say, yeah, let's live stream your event. I'll do it for free. It's a value of $2,500, but I'm going to do it for free. And I want to be able to interview each one of your exhibitors that have paid to be there. And that's going to increase your value to them, because suddenly they're getting all this extra attention, not just from the people that are physically present, but from all the millions of people that are going to be watching on the internet. And then set it up where you're either going around to all the different booths somehow, or they're coming by you for a 5-minute quick interview. Make sure you record it. Make sure you send them a copy of it, because those are your future clients. You're getting your name out there. You're standing in front of traffic, and these people are just breezing by you, but they have to get by you. They have to see you. All right. Start your own show. Start your own local topic show, a local event show, a local politics show, something to put your studio on the map as a live stream in your locale. And do you have to do it every day? No, you don't have to do it every day. Most people won't watch it live. You need to do it live, but most people won't watch it live. Why do it live? Because there's extra energy in live. That's why the local news is live and not pre-recorded and polished and all that other kind of stuff. They might rehearse it, but it's live when you see it. No, you want to do your show live. You want to invite people on the show that are members of the community. Maybe they're artists or farmers or teachers or whatever. There are lots of interesting people out there, and then just talk about what they do and make sure that all their friends and family know that they're going to be on the show, and make sure they have a link so they can send it to all their friends and family, and make sure they get a copy of the recording. And you put it on Facebook, and you put it on YouTube, and you can't put it on Instagram, but you can put a link to it on Instagram, and you can put it on Twitter, and you can put it on Twitch, and you can do lots of fun things with it in that regard. And you can get your friends to put it on their pages so that you can share it too. I think a political show, right now would be a great time to start a political show just about local politics. The mayor's race, the councilman's race, the dog catcher race. And there's got to be some controversy there, and people love to watch controversy. It's like watching a soap opera, except in real life. You might just end up with a tremendous hit on your hands that you end up getting sponsors for, and your content becomes the content that your show, that your studio is producing. What about a charity event? Paul and Tess with Stream Geeks had a great opportunity. I guess it was last year now, but they streamed a fashion show. It was a charity event. It was intended as a fundraiser, but they live streamed it as a way to get more viewers in there and more people that could come in and make a donation online. So there's got to be a donate button and all that kind of stuff. And then you're setting up somebody that's talking just to the live streaming audience, not to the whole audience that's physically present. Yeah, it takes some work, but it's going to put you on the map. That's the idea. It's going to make you if not a destination, at least a waypoint on the map. You're going to be in the middle of traffic. My favorite, and if I could write those, if I could read my own, writing. I'm going to get to my favorite in just a second. Another opportunity for you is if you want to have the effect of a studio, but you're out in the boonies, and you say, I can't get people to come out to the boonies from the nearby city because I'm too far out in the boonies. Well, maybe your nearby city has a co-working space. That is a place where you can rent an office for a day, and you could rent the office every Thursday, and that could become your studio away from your studio. And you get really good at setting up all your gig stuff in that studio, and that co-working space probably has internet. I mean, you can work out the details, but that gives you a studio location that's closer to where your potential client base is. And again, a couple free shows to kind of get the ball rolling. That's what you need. And my guest is going to be on in 49 seconds, so he better get ready. So one of my favorite concepts in all of this is Famous Amos. Do you know about Famous Amos? You might know about Famous Amos if you ever studied any marketing, or if you like chocolate chip cookies. You say, marketing? Chocolate chip cookies? Tom, what are you talking about? Famous Amos decided that he was going to be a cookie maker. And I don't know if it was his recipe or his grandmother's recipe, but he made cookies, and he went down on the street and he gave them away. Yep, he didn't charge for them, but he sure did make sure people knew who he was. He stood in traffic. It was the ultimate standing in traffic. Famous Amos gave away his cookies at a time when sugar was at an all-time high, the market was not good for opening a new business, and he did a great job and became famous, not just for his cookies, but for his marketing techniques. So don't be afraid to give it away, but make sure when you give it away that people understand the value of what it is you're giving away. And, you bite into a good chocolate chip cookie, you got the value. With a live stream, you might have to do some education to help people get the value. My favorite of all time way of getting people to frequent your live streaming studio is the reason why I have my guest available today. So with no further ado, Well, probably with some ado, because we're going to have to work out some details here because we haven't tested anything. But let me bring in Cliff Sobel. You remember Cliff was on the show a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about the Streamcast network. Cliff, do we have any audio from you?
Seconds.
Oh, there we go. Now we got you.
That was way more than 49 seconds, Tom.
I know, because I realized I wanted to talk about Famous Amos before I talked about you.
Not Famous Cliff.
So, well, maybe one day. Maybe one day. So let me do some more introduction while we've got Cliff on the line. Cliff started the Streamcast network, I guess maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and we're not worried about that right now. But he used a truly interesting and I would say unique marketing method, which he may or may not have intended to do. And that was that he would invite people onto his show, the Streamcast Network, that he really wanted as clients, so that they could be esteemed by being invited. Yes, indeedy. Boy, this is special. And so that they could have the experience of what it would be like to do their own show and to have the spotlight on them and their business or their product or their service or their idea or their concept or their history or whatever it was. And Cliff, I don't want to steal your thunder, but you know,
Too late.
Okay, well, next guest. Next guest. By the way, sorry about that. Don't forget to turn off your phone when the time comes. Tell us where you are today.
I'm at one of my clients in Manhattan. They are a company, they're a startup that specializes in predictive analytics in the advertising industry. They help brands figure out the best way to buy media. And it flies in the face of traditional methodologies for the way advertising agencies buy media. They're about 10 years old and they are just growing like crazy. I think their revenue is like, it went up 50% in the past, every year 50% for the past 4 years. And they just got another like $9 million in round-in funding last October.
Uh-huh. Is there any way you can bring your audio up a little bit?
Hold on. What mic am I here?
So this is a remote studio. This is not Cliff's main studio.
That better, Tom?
That is a little better. Yeah.
I can make
I mean, you're so
How's that?
soft-spoken to begin with.
I know.
All right, so you've got this good client, but you know, how did they
Great
find
client.
out about you? I mean, that's what we want to know.
So just like you said before, Tom, I put myself in the path of traffic. Just like you also said to join an organization like your Chamber of Commerce, I joined an alumni group that they're all marketing folks. And they're young folks. They work at companies like Google and Pinterest and WeWork and all those kind of companies. And I said, you know, this is a good place for me to be. So I started going to their meetings. Before I knew it, they asked me to be an advisor on their board, which was great. So they do events every 3 months. And they were doing an event on advertising with some advertising titans. And it was being held at this company. This company, Simulmedia, because one of the members of this marketing collective works here, they offered their space. They have a salon room that holds about 100 people.
Oh, hold on.
So
Time out. Miranda's here. Just had to make sure everybody knew that Miranda's here. She's late, but she's here. Okay, go ahead, Cliff.
So they have what's called a salon room that holds about 100 people, and they were doing this big event. The marketing collective was allowed to do this big event here. And I said, I said to myself, I need to put myself in the path of traffic. So I'm going to incur the expense, and I'm going to do a full-on live stream, 4-camera shoot. I'm going to hire a little bit of a crew, people who work with me. We're going to put it all together, and we're going to do this live stream, and hopefully somebody in the audience will come to me and say, that's interesting. What are you doing? So I got here, we set up, and in fact, it wasn't somebody in the audience. It was the senior vice president at this company here. who had never seen anything so professional and had never seen a live stream like this before. And before I knew it, we were meeting. And before I knew it, I had done it. I was hired to do an event for them. And before I knew it, doing shows here probably 3 to 4 times a month. We built a little studio in one of their conference rooms, and we live stream a show right from Simulmedia's offices here in Manhattan. And it's all about putting yourself in the path of traffic. You just have to be willing to, like, do I have the stupidity, the idiocy, or guts to do this?
Well, with you, that's an easy question. I mean, that's an easy answer.
The stupidity part?
Yeah, that's right. Because I recognize a soul that I can relate to. Tell us also about the Streamcast Network show, Anatomy of an Entrepreneur.
So that's another one of the shows on our network.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all about entrepreneurialism. And I decided, you know what, I want to do a show that I know the content that I can relate to, because I've been an entrepreneur for the past 35 years. I mean, really, I've been an entrepreneur since I'm a little kid. But that's been, my entire career has been based on entrepreneurialism. I always had difficulty working for other people. So I started this show, and I started having guests on. And my career was always a knock on doors, cold, call people, email people, and that doesn't work so much anymore. And I remember one day I was doing my show, I think we were only on the 10th show, and I had been asking this minor league baseball team to speak with me about live streaming for them. And they would never answer me. So I got this scatterbrained idea that I was not going to ask them for business, but rather I was going to ask them to talk about themselves. So I got in touch. I emailed the president of this minor league baseball team, and I said, hey, you've had a very interesting career. Know nothing about the guy. I would love to have you on my show, Anatomy of an Entrepreneur, so you can talk about your journey. He answered me in an hour. He came to my studio that day. He saw what we were doing. And before I knew it, he was on the show, and we were talking about business. He invited me to his office to talk about business. Nothing's happened yet, but the point being was this gave me the idea that why don't I put people in the seat next to me that I interview that could be prospects for me. It's easier to get them to be prospects because you're not asking them for business. You're just asking them to talk about themselves, which everybody loves to do.
Right.
And in addition to that, they get to see what the studio looks like, and they really get a feel for the power of live streaming.
Yep. 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 Folks are complaining that I don't have my boxes set right, but they'll have to get over that. Come on, Wixton, get over that. So this is something that you sat down and you said, you know, based on all my marketing experience and all my education, this is what I want to do. No, you stumbled into this, right? I mean, it just was like the light bulb came on.
Yep.
You had already done it, and then you realized what you did, and you said, this is a workable model.
Yes. And Tom, I believe we all make our own luck. And what that means is you need to put yourself in the path of traffic. You need to put yourself in a place where you can gain opportunities, and you'll get lucky. And if you see an opportunity, because you got lucky, you need to seize it. And that's basically what I've done.
So how lucky are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. Because I make my own luck.
No shortage.
No. I don't wait for opportunities to come to me. I see them, and I seize them.
Yeah,
however,
but what when people tell you no, and that's a stupid idea, and you're going to lose all your money, and you're not going to be successful, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's a very easy answer.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to do it then. If you don't think it's a good idea, you don't have to do it. I think it's a good idea, and I'm going to do it.
Do you believe in what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
I'm very passionate about
do you really believe in what you're doing? Not just because I'm asking, but I mean, if I took away your cameras and your microphone and that cool PC that you've got in your studio, what would you do tomorrow?
I don't know. I have no idea what I would do. I can tell you that I'm very passionate about this. I believe in what I'm doing. But just like any other normal human being, I have concerns. I have fears, wondering whether it's going to work. But you got to pick yourself up no matter what and keep moving. So no matter how many times you fail, just get up and keep moving and keep trying. Excuse me.
See, he's got so many clients, he can't just squeeze out 5 minutes for us, guys.
Yeah, that one says telemarketer.
Well, you
That's
never
my client,
know.
telemarketer.
You never know.
Yeah. So, but if you really believe in something a lot, no matter how many times someone says no to you, no does not mean no. And that's in business and in your personal life. No does not necessarily mean no. No may mean no today. No does not mean no tomorrow. Or that person is unaware that they don't mean no.
Right.
Maybe they mean yes, but they don't know it. And you have to help them. You have to educate them. And by the way, it's not a sales process. It's really a process of taking them by the hand and going, I'm here for you. Let me just show you what this is all about. Let me help educate you. Let me give you some free information. Let me help you understand what I can do for your business. And that's a process.
I like it. Final Focus Production says in the chat that no means they need more information a lot of times.
That's a great point.
Yeah. All right.
Great point.
Let's go off the path just a second. And let's talk about kind of attitudes and aptitudes. Do you like people?
Me? Yeah, sure.
I mean, do you
I
like...
really get kind of...
Yeah?
A lot of people say, I hate people. I don't hate people. I really don't. I really like people. There are a lot of jerks out there. It doesn't mean I don't like people. So I don't like the jerks. I like people.
Yeah. Okay. So do you like to be in groups of people and talk with people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that easy for you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No problem at all.
Yeah.
That's never been a fear for me.
Yep.
I don't know why, but over the years you get more comfortable in your own skin.
I go with that.
It becomes easier.
Yeah.
So I can talk to a group of 10. If I was able to, I could talk in front of a group of 10,000. Doesn't matter to me. And it just is what it is.
Well, you're talking in front of a group of 10,000 right now.
There you go. You don't. If you know your business, you know your work, then it's not. What's scary about it? Someone asks you a question, you can usually answer it. And if you can't answer, you go, I don't know.
Right.
I will tell you that live streaming has toughened my skin a little bit.
Okay. How?
Going in front of a camera every week.
Yeah.
Broadcasting every single week with somebody else there. It was difficult in the beginning, just staring at a camera by myself. And now it's so easy. It's just, to me, it's just like having a conversation with somebody.
There you go. Absolutely. Because that's what it is.
And yeah. And going back to the other thing we were talking about in the beginning, I don't necessarily say that these sales funnels don't work, but it's not the only way to build your business, because business is about relationships, not about sales funnels.
Number one. Yep.
And relationships build trust.
Yep.
And trust builds credibility. And now you can kind of consult.
Sure.
And again, that's in your business relationships and personal relationships.
Yes.
But it takes time. You can't look at a rejection and go, okay, this doesn't work, I quit. You have to look at a rejection and say, okay, how can I do this different? How can I do it better?
Right. Merle wants us to go back and rewind to the very beginning and start again. Merle, you just got to get here on time.
On demand? I think it's called on demand.
Actually, you can rewind if you're on the YouTube stream, Merle. You can rewind that, but then you'd miss out on what's going on in chat as the live part. But that's okay. All right, so HGB, asks, is offering free service a good start?
Why not?
Okay.
Why not? What do you have to lose? If he ain't got nothing, Bob Dylan said, if you ain't got nothing, you ain't got nothing to lose. And you need to build a reputation somehow. And you may not get a client right away. So you might want to do something for free so that you can A, showcase your work, B, get a testimonial, and build credibility.
Yep.
So absolutely, I'm a big, look, don't get it taken advantage of. And you have to look at like what's a good opportunity. Because there are a lot of folks out there who will just take advantage.
Well, let's
So you
talk
have
about
to
that
pick
for just a
what's
second.
best for you.
And let's talk about how that happens. I had somebody approach me last week and wanted me to do something for free. They are not going to be my client in the future because they have no value for my service because they're expecting me to do it for free. But if I choose to go to somebody and say, I have this $2,500 value service that I would like to give to you so that you can give me feedback on it, so that I can develop my portfolio, and so that, I'm not going to say it to him, but so that we can develop a relationship, that's a whole different story. But if somebody approaches you and wants you to do it for free, I say, unless it's, Prince Diana come back from the grave, say no. Don't do the free
You have
stuff.
to really be careful.
Yes.
You have to be careful because some people, and you can kind of read people.
Lemonade.
You know who's true and not true. Good deal. No dum-dums, just lemonade. But you have to be able to read people and know who you want to give your time to.
Yep.
Someone that will promise you the world, stay away. Oh, this is going to be so great for you. I'm going to get you such great exposure.
Yeah. How
Bye.
many times have I heard that? Holy cow.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. But you have an idea of the kinds of people that you want to do business with. Criteria number one is they can pay their bills. It's somebody that has the ability to pay. Number two, it's somebody that has the ability to appreciate what you bring to the table. Now, you're not going to know that, and they're not going to know that perhaps until they taste that. It's like going to a dinner, and they bring in some samples around, and you get to taste and see what you like, and you say, oh, yeah. Or going into Baskin-Robbins and getting, that little teeny pink spoon of ice cream so you can see if that's what you want. That's what I think that's what you're doing right now with folks, is you're giving them an opportunity to taste what you're doing. And they say, oh, Rocky Road, man, I love it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
And a lot of them will turn into nothing. But not everybody's going to buy my services. It's going to be the ones who are interested. And so it's worth it, especially if you can set up a business model where it's not costing you a lot to do it, but you're providing value.
Okay. How many hours are in your week? Your work
as a
week.
business owner, it's hard to answer because sometimes I'm working in the morning for 4 to 6 hours, and then I won't do anything in the afternoon, but then I'll work at night on something. I don't know. I'm going to say 50 hours, 60
say 50
hours now.
Okay.
Okay.
And let's say that your studio's doing really, really well and you're working 50 hours a week. Now you've got somebody
My studio.
I'm sorry?
My studio's not, just to be clear, my studio's not being used 50 hours a week.
Well, I'm just saying, let's say when you reach that point that you are doing what you want to do,
right.
You're not going to take on a client at less than your set rate, unless there's an overwhelming personal reason for it or emotional reason for doing it.
Or I see a future.
Right. But at the same time, when you're just starting out, sometimes you might choose to do that if it looks like it's going to be the right kind of client.
Right.
describe your right kind of client. Give me a couple of descriptions of what that person would be like.
The first thing is they have to be an early adopter.
Okay.
They have to be someone who's open to something that not everybody's doing yet.
All right.
And live streaming is, I think, probably towards the end of the early adopter phase. Would you agree?
I would.
Right. So you still need to get those early adopters. And so your funnel is going to be smaller. And you've got to know that your funnel is going to be smaller. By the way, when it grows, if you wait, now you have all this competition. But if you've been on it early, you've developed a lot of credibility.
Right.
So it's someone who, it's a company who they think forward. They've got to have some cash. You have to look, what's the size of the company, right? I'm a one-man band. While we have a couple of clients who are one-man bands, I'm going to be much better off working with corporations that have real budgets. And they don't have to be Fortune 500s, and I've worked with plenty of those. But they just have to have a structure. They have to have been in business for a while, and you can just tell that they're doing fairly well. So I look at that, and then I look at the people in the organization. Who are they? Can I work with these people? Because, again, I'm at a point in my career where I am not going to work with jerks anymore. I'm done working with jerks.
But yet you just keep having me hang around. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, you're kind of like a pet that won't go away.
That cat that shows up at the doorstep every night. Yeah, yeah.
Just meowing.
That's right. That's right. All right. So when you do, here's the question that I'm going to ask based on a question that came up in the chat. When you have folks on the Anatomy of an Entrepreneur,
yes.
What kind of viewership are you getting there, live and after the fact?
I think last night's show only got like 200 viewers by the time the show was over, and maybe today it's got 250.
Okay.
Maybe 300. Very small.
Okay.
Our show is not about how many. It's about who's watching and who is in that seat.
That's right. That's right. So that is not how we measure success.
Yeah. That whole thing with views, that's all horse hockey, as Colonel Potter would say.
But that's been the standard way of determining how effective something is oh, I got 1 million views.
Yeah, no. I'd rather have 100 views of qualified prospects than 1 million views of no prospects. I don't need to feed my ego that much.
But it's not the ego that you're feeding. It's the wisdom that you know that you're not looking for viewers. You want a viewership of one. And that is the person that's sitting in that seat, that they see the value and they're going to watch the whole thing from start to finish by living it in the seat and maybe by going back later and taking a look at it. That is the viewer that you are streaming to.
And the other part of that is how you make them feel, right? So by the end of the show, if I've made that guest, AKA prospect, feel good, they're going to remember that. And the whole thing is to make people feel good. Make people feel good about themselves. I asked very tough, challenging questions. As a matter of fact, the guest I had on last night when we got off, he was like, whoa. He said, I didn't know you were going to get inside my head like that. He said, that was nothing like I thought it was going to be. I said, well, did you have a good time? He goes, yeah, I had a great time. So I don't ask questions to try to stump people. I don't ask questions, but I do ask very challenging questions, and I like to have, like, not even sparring, but I like to have conversations that are fun, because I think my unique style is like getting underneath the hood and digging in and see what's going on there, not just these, surfacey questions.
Yeah, you're a good interviewer. The times you've had me on. All right, well let's go back to the potential client that's sitting in the guest chair in your studio.
Okay.
And no. I'm sorry. Shift gears for a second. Let's go back to the client whose studio you're in right now. What are their goals for viewership, or do they see viewership like you see viewership?
Actually, some of it I'm not allowed to talk about
Okay.
because it's confidential.
All right.
But they're looking at two type of. They've realized that it's who's sitting in the seat also. And so all I'm going to say is, and I can't go into detail, but they also look for folks who are going to be sitting in the chair in the studio.
So their
And then-
format is like a talk show format where they are the hosts and they have guests that are in the industry.
That's right. Titans in the industry. I mean, they had on now the former president of Crown Media, who owns all the Hallmark channels. And when all that controversy was going on, they actually were here. We did a show with that person. We just did a show with two senior people from LinkedIn today. They have guests all over the map, from the brands to the ad agencies to people who they partner with.
All right. So what I hear you saying is that for your show, it's not about the number of viewers.
Nope.
And for your client's show, for them, it's not about the number of viewers. There seems to be a little trend going on here.
Yeah. Although they would like to get more views. They would definitely like to get more views.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, wouldn't you like to have 1,000
would I like
folks that watched yesterday's show live?
Yeah, wouldn't I love to be, a guy who gets the kind of views that Gary Vaynerchuk gets, or Casey Neistat, or Joe Rogan? Yeah, I'd love to have.
Or
that,
even
but
me? Yeah.
I'm not so. Well, that goes without saying, Tom. But that's not where I'm at, and I have to look at things a little differently. And it takes a long time. They didn't, as you say, it took 14 years to become an overnight success.
Right.
And quite frankly, I don't think I've hit my stride yet.
I don't think you
I
have
don't
either.
think my stride is coming. No, I don't think that I'll really see the big fruits of my success for another year or year and a half.
Okay. And then you'll be an overnight success.
Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting today with some pretty solid people in the music industry.
Yeah.
That's where my meeting is that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And they do these big music festivals and conferences and events. So I've gotten them interested. I know them from LinkedIn, and I had a first meeting with them last Friday. They were very intrigued, and I have another meeting with them today.
Well, then we better let you go, because you've got.
I got to break down first, and I still have to meet them.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on but I'm meeting them less than a block away, so that's okay.
Well, you're very kind to spend some time with us today and share some of your secret sauce. There are folks all over the world that are learning today, and they're hearing things that are new for them, things that they've never heard before, or they're hearing things in a different way so they can better understand how to do it, what it is they want to do, and not give it away. Yeah.
No, but give information away.
Oh, yeah. Like you're about to do today.
Draw them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave the guy a lot of information. I'm going to give them more free information today.
Good. All right, so put me down on your calendar for Tuesday night, April 19th or whatever it is. We're doing dinner.
I will be there.
Yeah.
I will be there.
And then Monday night,
So that'd be great.
the night before, for the Streaming
Right.
Idiots meetup at Scott Whitney's
Gotcha.
studio. You haven't seen Scott's studio.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Oh,
always
yeah.
curious to see what other people are doing.
Oh, yeah, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's really cool. All right, well, we're going to let Cliff go. And again, thank you so much for popping in.
Great. Thanks for having me, Tom.
It's my pleasure.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
So there you go, folks. Cliff Sobel with the Streamcast Network. You've got a feel for the kinds of, and the reason I had Cliff on, and actually it was a toss-up between 2 or 3 people that I wanted to bring on today. So if you didn't get the call about being on the show, that's because I got a hold of Cliff first. But Cliff has got some really great concepts. You know, the idea, and here's This is if you take away nothing else but this one thing, let people taste what you got. Set up a situation where they can taste it as if they were actually buying it. That is, that little pink Baskin-Robbins spoon, just give them a little taste of what it's like to be on the talk show with the lights and the camera and the microphones and maybe questions from the audience or call-in questions or whatever it is, and let them taste it, let them feel it, let them sense what it's going to be like, and they can say, okay, I can now I can see how this is going to work in my situation. There you go. Okay. A couple housekeeping details. This is the good stuff. The Streaming Idiots meetup at NAB is the Monday night of NAB. Remember, NAB starts on a Sunday this year. I don't remember the exact date, but it's on Monday night. It's going to be at Scott Whitney's studio. Go Google Podworks, Podworks. Yeah, that's it. Podworks. Don't go to podworks.com. Google Podworks, because what will happen is Google will bring up pictures of their studio. I don't know how many pictures there are, but it's a really cool studio, and that's where we're going to have the Streaming Idiots meetup. There are going to be refreshments, and there's going to be Smarties and Dum Dums and lemonade and mixed nuts and other goodies as well. Plus, you guys are going to be there, which is going to be the big party. Kenny and Dave are going to be doing a series of interviews in a studio portion. And that'll be fun. We're trying to get together. You've seen the photo booths that people are having at parties. Well, we're trying to get together a live streaming booth where, when we're not doing the interviews, where folks that are there at the party can come and just say hi to all the folks that couldn't be at the party but are watching on the live stream. Scott and I are going to set that up next week. And so if you would like to be a sponsor for this event and get your name on the koozies and on the banner and all the other stuff, let me know. We're putting our sponsor package together now on that. If you are interested in the here at Streaming Idiots in the Eastern Shore Broadcasting Studios, we just retired 2 PCs that we had been using for the live stream here, and each one is capable of doing a great limited show, for a church. In fact, that's what we're thinking about. If you've got a church and you're not live streaming now and you'd like to live stream, but you don't have a budget for it, this is not a camera now, this is just a PC. But I just got these in the mail this week. This is a retired NVIDIA GTX 980 Ti graphics card. I mean, this is a beast, and this is going to make our old retired PCs really, really fly running vMix. And so, Gio, hat tip to you for that. We'll be installing those and getting those ready to go. So we've got 2 of them. If you are in a church plant or in a church situation where it's a traditional church and you'd like to move to live streaming, and that's a new thing for you guys, shoot me an email, Tom at easternshorebroadcasting.com. Yeah, there it is, right down there at the bottom. And just plead your case, Tom. This is what we're doing. This is what we want to do. I mean, not just say, hey, I'd like the PC, but give me an idea. And it's a giveaway. It's not going to cost you anything. We're gonna send it to you. We'll teach you how to use it and get you going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the Streaming Idiots meetup in April. The giveaway. When they're gone, we'll stop talking about it. We're still looking for folks today. Hat tip for Cliff to doing such a great job and coming on at last minute today. Now, next week you really don't want to miss next week's show, and you want to see next week's show live. It's going to be a special time, number one. Instead of being at 3 o'clock Eastern, it's going to be at 4:30 Eastern. Why the time change, Tom? Well, let me tell you why the time changed. Because the kids at the school are in school at 3 o'clock Eastern, but they're not in school at 4:30 Eastern. That's right. The students at Fairhope Intermediate School in their studio will be producing the Streaming Idiot Show next week. I'll be on the show. In fact, I'll be interviewing some of those kids, and they'll be talking, and we'll do a studio tour there. But I want you to see how 9, 10, and 11-year-olds, or maybe 12-year-olds, but it's that age group, they do their whole production every single day. They do the technical part of it. They do the talent part of it. They are even troubleshooting now that they've been doing it for a while. They're troubleshooting their setup when something doesn't work right. They're figuring out what the problem is and going in and fixing it. So proud of those rascals. And so I asked the principal a couple of weeks ago if we could do this show there, and she said absolutely, it would be a great experience. We might even be able to get her in on it too. So set your calendars, set your watches, set your clocks for next Wednesday, February, whatever it is, 3rd, I think. It may be whatever next Wednesday is, 4:30 Eastern. 4:30 Eastern. Same channel, different time. So we'll be on. We should have enough bandwidth to do Facebook, both Facebooks and YouTube. If there's a problem, we'll post it so that everybody knows where it is. But it's going to. Excuse me, that took me by surprise. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I want you to come in and see what kids can do, because this is where live streaming is going. These guys are going to take it over, and they're going to do great things with it. So we'll move into a post show at this point, and if you've got questions that you think I can help with, be happy to take them. So I'll see you in just a moment. All right, we are back. There we go. Very good. Thank you, Merle. It was a lot of fun. Cliff is a great guy, number one, and a great guest. Had an opportunity to have a meal with him out at NAB last year, and it was a real treat. So I hope you guys can get to NAB this year and get to meet Cliff and chat with him. Really guy. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Daniel is here. Well, I'm glad he's here. You'll have to go back and watch the beginning of the show because that was the best part. Let's see. RJ is here. Welcome, sir. He has been doing live streaming studio for a while, and we probably ought to get him to come on and talk about his studio some more. It's been a little while since we've had him in there. And Wixton, the whole concept of views and viewers, it's just been really interesting to have Cliff share what he shared. I mean, I've known that for a while. I knew it. In fact, I knew it before he and I talked about it, because I would look at the views that his show was having, Anatomy of an Entrepreneur. And those are well-produced shows. You probably ought to go take a look. And he wasn't getting tons of views. But that wasn't why he was doing the show. I mean, it may have been where he started, but because I think he wants to pump out some content from his studio that's the content that he's developing. But what he stumbled on, and I thought he was doing it on purpose, was the concept of letting people taste. And it really has been a winning concept for him, and I think it can be a winning concept for you too if you're in that position. Now, do you have to start a show called, The Anatomy of an Entrepreneur or something like that? Maybe you need a regular offering that you are responsible for the content on, and so you can, maybe it's a hybrid. I know Scott Pienta has got a really great local show up there in Michigan. And I think it's what's it, hometown TV, maybe. I don't quote me on that one, but you can probably find it. And if Scott's here, he can put a link. It's a local event show, and so he's bringing in people to talk about what's going on. And that has some good value, and especially if you've got sponsors that are paying for something like that. But you can certainly take a show like that, and once every 4 shows or whatever the schedule is, bring in a guest that you would really like to have as a client, so that they can taste and be willing to what are you willing to do? You're willing to bring in somebody that is more than just news, more than just events. Yep. Let's see, Merle. Tom, are you broadcasting 1920 by 1080? I should be. Should be doing that on YouTube, which is the Eastern Shore Broadcasting embed, and also on Facebook, both Facebooks. And it looks like all the streams are red, so we're in good shape at this point. Oh, Merle's on his phone, so he can't tell. Okay. Oh, Amnon's here. Hello, Amnon. Amnon, the grandfather of live streaming. There you go. He's my very, very first guest, because nobody else would be a guest on my show, but Amnon did. Let's see. What else do we have going on here? Let's get where we can scroll back into the comments. Yeah, Frank, I really am impressed with Cliff's willingness to share some of his secret sauce like that. And Wixton, the shirt thing, yeah, I tried to fix that last week, and I guess I must not have saved it, and I assumed it was fixed this week. And Jan was editing some dash cam videos. All right. Got it. Tommy's looking for a mule whisperer to be his guest. Exposure bucks do not pay the bills. Final Focus Productions, I couldn't agree more. They do not pay the bills. But they can be a strategy to get the bills paid. All right, Wixton has got a series of questions here. I wish we'd gotten to all of them. I'm sorry. Cliff, where do you stream? Where do you stream your customers? And do you get viewers? And do you pay for marketing? Wixton, my understanding in talking with Cliff, and I talk with him frequently, is that the viewers that his clients are getting are his clients' people. So they are marketing the show. Hello, Benjamin from Belize. Welcome. Glad to have you. What's the weather down there today? Did you get any of that tidal surge from the earthquake? I hope not. I was down there 30 years ago. It was beautiful. I loved it. Hi, son. I like that. So I think in some sense it's up to the client to market his show to his people. I know in the studio that Cliff was just in, that particular client does all the promotion of their show. The show is on their LinkedIn page, on their Facebook page. Excuse me just a second. It's my daily sneeze. And I think that unless you are going to get into the marketing aspect of it from a purely marketing standpoint, as opposed to a live streaming standpoint, that you really want to let the client address their audience. You certainly don't want to be perceived as wanting to steal their audience, although there might be some times where you can cross-pollinate, and that might be valuable. But I think Martin Stuckey's here. Good to see you. Long time no see. Sorry, got distracted by seeing an old friend. So I think he's letting the clients do their marketing, but he's doing the marketing himself for the for some reason I'm having a hard time pulling that name out of my head. The Anatomy of an Entrepreneur show, and I don't know that he's marketing that show a lot, other than perhaps Facebook and LinkedIn. Well, no, I take that back, because he's cutting clips from his show and he's posting those on LinkedIn on a regular basis as part of his marketing plan. So there we go. There we go. All right. Merle says, we don't try and make money with our broadcasts. He just loses money. Well, Merle, if your goal is to make money, then we need to talk. If your goal is not to make money but just to get the message out, then sounds like you're fine. But I can probably help you on the marketing part of it. Yep. So Wixon says, got it. He probably streams to the customers' channels. Exactly. Today that he was streaming to their LinkedIn account, which was interesting because the two people that were on the show as guests of his client were LinkedIn execs. So, and Cliff is playing with the big boys. There's no doubt about that. I don't make any, I'm not trying to draw a comparison between him and us and say that, we need to go contact LinkedIn or, baseball teams or any of these things. We need to play in the sandbox that we're in. My little sandbox here of Fairhope, I was looking out the door because that's where the sandbox starts. Our little market, the clientele that I am approaching is totally different in that sense. I'm approaching small business owners, professionals in the area from a bricks and mortar standpoint. That is, people that I can reasonably expect to invite to my studio, or reasonably expect that I would visit their locale, their place of business, whatever it might be. So we'll see. It was a fun show. Fun. And so delighted to have you guys here today. I appreciate you coming. Don't forget about next week. Next week's going to be fun. It's going to be a different kind of fun. It'll kind of be a combination of kind of that, that give back fun as opposed to the make money fun. Fast Eddie, welcome. Glad to have you here. Amnon says, I keep being told by those who do shows here that they are coming here because they don't need to know anything about production. There you go. That's a great way to do it. Let the expert in production do the production and let them provide the content. Yep. Wixon says, my goal is to have my own one-man band, no employees. All right. Otis said, did you get your keyboard issue resolved? Not yet. Still waiting. Haven't checked it today. I'll check it while we're talking. Still waiting for the Bird Dog firmware release. So let's see if bird-dog.tv, bird-dog.tv, and see if they have got the firmware on their website yet. I also know that they do a good job of posting in their Facebook group. Let's see, firmware updates. And, all right, there's the Studio, the Mini, the P100, P200, A200, A300. But I don't see anything on the keyboard. Let's just check Facebook for a second and see if there's any discussion on that in their group. Bird Dog. When my kids were growing up, there was a show a cartoon on TV called Cat Dog. All right, looking through some of the posts here to see. There was a post that was pretty active about the keyboard. Okay, nothing new there. Let me check one more spot here. No, I don't see any chatter. Nope. No chatter on that one. All right. So we're chatting about Stockholm. There we go. If you know of someone, or if you know of a church that is in need of a PC for live streaming, especially somebody that's kind of, I mean, a group that is on the edge. And by the way, this is USA only. Sorry, we're not shipping overseas. You know, this would have them contact me. I guess that's the best way to do it. So, Peter, there is no update for the keyboard. Not yet. Not yet. Actually, I was hoping that it might actually come this past Monday, but didn't see it. Let's see. Yeah, the word I got about BirdDog is that they had gotten the necessary information from New Tech to be able to put together what they needed in the keyboard. And I guess it's just a process of, you know, making that a firmware update. Yeah, the Lumens keyboard is the same chassis, but and so it has the same buttons and the same joystick, but the difference is the manufacturer of the BirdDog keyboard is that it has their NDI chip in it. So the Lumens keyboard firmware, you know, probably doesn't address the NDI function. Sounds like your mic is shutting down soon. You mean like maybe like there's a noise gate that's not opening fast enough? I may have the noise filter set a little too aggressively. Let's take a look. I can back it off. It's at 20%. I'll back it off to 15 and see if that makes any difference. Fast Eddie, can you talk about NDI alpha channels and how that works? No. I don't know anything about NDI's alpha channels. Humming noise. Ah, the humming noise. Yes, the humming noise is the PC that's arm distance away from me. And actually, let's see if this makes a difference. I wanted this the other day. Let's take this guy, and we're going to shut down this PC and see if that makes a difference on the humming noise. 3, 2, 1. Now it's off. Now, the main PC is still on, but the second PC that I was just using for info is off. So maybe that took care of the humming noise. Let's see. Emanula says, when can you invite me to your show? I know no means a lot of information. Well, you have to help me with that last statement because I didn't understand it. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. What else have we got for you guys today? Anything interesting? That's really it. Oh, I should have the dates of NAB. Yeah. Let's see. NAB 2020 dates. It is April 18th, which is a Sunday, which means the 19th is Monday, which is when the Streaming Idiots meetup will be. No. Oh, no. No. 18th is Saturday. The show opens on Sunday. So let's go back into the calendar here. April. Yep. So the 19th is when the show opens. That's Sunday. And then the 20th, which is Monday, April 20th, is the Streaming Idiots meetup. And then the show goes Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. All right. There we go. April 20th. Excellent. Excellent. No PC noise didn't help. It is hum, don't know the word. It's like Bruce in Swedish. Static? Oh, you hear static. Oh, that's interesting. Static. Check 1, 2. Well, let me see if I hear static. What I'm monitoring here and what I monitor during the show is the Behringer. I don't hear anything. Let's see. Let's see if I can turn on the headphones. And check 1, 2. Yeah, I hear that. That's interesting. Let's see. Check 1, 2. Check, check, check. Check 1, 2. Check, check, check. Okay, that's the main mic across the room. And this is the desktop mic. I don't hear the static now. Maybe I do a little bit. Little hiss. Amnon says to turn down the volume and it'll go away. All right. Let's see if we've got. How about that? Does that make any difference? Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Nope. I still hear it. All right. Let's try this. Yeah, it disappears at about 40% on the NS1 plugin. So it should be gone now. Let me turn off the mic here and the headset. Turn that one off. And we'll turn that one off. Here we go. Interesting. Interesting. Thank you for the feedback. There's nothing more annoying than things that are annoying. Not doing wireless. No, this is hardwired. Amnon says, not your volume. Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Let's see if we can bring up 192.168.1. What is that 72? Is that the one? Nope, that's not the one. Oh, it might be. Let's go to 89. There we go. Still there, but a lot less noticeable. Well, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Ron. Ron, I need to call you. I'll do it after the show here today if you're free. Less noise now. Thank you. Yeah, it just, I don't know. I'll check and see if it's a mic cable or I did rerun some mic cables earlier. Maybe I didn't plug something in as well as it said, but still static. Okay. Thank you. Good to know. Very inexpensive mic. The ATR, Audio-Technica ATR 2100, I think. And not a fancy mic, not an expensive mic, and just something here for the workstation. But we'll have to look and see if we can find it. That's the, it's the exercise of finding it and knowing how to find it that's important. Yeah. Troy says, I was part of a production and commentated a pool tournament. Had 5,000 live viewers and up to 65 viewers after the fact. By the way, I'm still lost with this tech stuff. Well, you just got to bite it, like an elephant, just a small bite at a time. Merle says, one of the best mics out there for the cost. I think so too, Merle. And I'm using it, it's probably 15 to 18 inches off the mic. So it may be picking up some noise too. Let's see. Amnon says, I know you're not using a hardware mixer anymore, but with a mixer, you can turn on a high pass filter or adjust the tone. Actually, that's a good point. Let's see if we can do the same kind of thing. Yeah. I think we're getting some company here, so we're going to have to go. Some folks wanted to come over for a studio tour. So I'm going to fade out. But I will see you guys next week at 4:30 Eastern when we come into you live from the Fairhope Intermediate School. It'll be the Streaming Idiots show, but a different time next week. So I will see you then. Let's see if we can find the fade out button here. All right, there we go. And whoops, one more thing here. We'll give you guys a little bit of audio. And we will catch you later. Welcome. Just finishing up a live broadcast. So your timing is impeccable. Yeah. Good. Good morning. Hey, it's good to meet you in person. Jason. Hey, Jason. Come on in and meet you. Find some chairs. This is